Good morning from England. As you can see, this room is an absolute mess. It looks like a bomb has exploded in here. So this is what we're working with.
Yeah, I feel like we need to clean this up, shall we?
Let's do it.
Well, that's much better now, isn't it?
Good job.
Okay, we realise that this has been absolutely no time at all for you, but it's actually been a few months for us since we actually last filmed. So with that, we wanted to just bring you up to speed as to what we've been up to during that time. Firstly, you may notice that the image quality is a little bit sharper than before, and that is because we have a brand new vlogging camera for anybody who is interested in that kind of thing. We have just acquired a Sony ZV-1 and we are loving it so far.
Yeah, thank you to both our parents as well as my aunt, uncle, and cousins because they kindly gifted this to us for Christmas.
So the last time that we spoke to you, we were applying for globally remote part-time jobs, things that we felt we could kind of fit around the travel and just have a nice work-life balance. We ended up applying for a lot of things. We even got certificates to teach English as a foreign language as a means of making ourselves more marketable to people. And to an extent, we were successful. We did actually end up getting some jobs, but unfortunately the volume of work that we ended up getting just wasn't quite what we expected. Because of that, we didn't quite manage to get ourselves to a point where we could sustain ourselves quite on the road at that point.
So after enjoying time with friends and family back in Canada, we already had plans to come to England to spend the holidays here and catch up with our friends and family. We had an absolutely amazing time, but while we were here, we still had to continue applying for jobs so that we could get enough work to sustain ourselves on the road. I was successful in getting myself a virtual physiotherapy job, and having secured that, that does now mean that we are able to sustain ourselves on the road and can keep traveling. So we have been successful in our mission. However, 4 days after arriving in England, my mom unfortunately received a significant medical diagnosis. And so after much discussion, we've decided that it's going to be best for us to temporarily put our travels on pause and go back to Canada in order to give her some additional support. So with that, we are going to be heading back to Canada just for a few months until we actually come back to this part of the world.
However, don't despair. We do still have every intention of continuing to travel. It's just not quite been how we foresaw it all going down at the beginning of the year. With that, we are actually going to be heading back to Canada via Portugal. We are going to be going to Porto for the first time. We have never been and we are super excited for that. And then when we do come back around to this part of the world, then we actually have a probably 2-week excursion around Ireland to look forward to. So of course, we will be bringing you along for that too. Obviously, plans beyond that will probably end up varying. It just depends on how things go, but we will be sure to keep you fully updated as and when anything arises, so you will be kept fully in the loop.
In the meantime, let's go to Porto. So we've made it through security, and I don't know if anyone remembers, but the last time we were here at Gatwick Airport was 2 years ago when we were officially leaving England to start this whole adventure. and we tried to get into the No.1 Lounge. However, it was completely full, so we ended up going to the Aspire Lounge. And if you want to see a lounge review, you can check out our lounge playlist on our YouTube channel. Today, we are going to try the exact same thing and get into the No.1 Lounge and see if it works. You can pre-book for £6, but we are cheap and decided that since we already kind of pay for our priority pass through our Amex Business Platinum card, that we were not going to do that. So let's basically just see what lounge we can get into here at Gatwick Airport.
Second time's the charm, right? Okay, so we are at an all-new lounge, which means an all-new lounge review. So for this one, we are at the No.1 Lounge in Gatwick Airport South Terminal.
Starting off with food, the selection was really good. It actually compares very similarly to that of the Aspire Lounge, which is at the same airport in the same terminal. You have a typical English breakfast as well as some croissant and yogurt. You have a whole porridge station, which is really cool. Some fruit. The quality is not the best, but it's absolutely edible and beats paying for anything. So with that, we're giving it an 8 out of 10.
Drinks wise, this takes care of pretty much everything you could possibly want. There's self-serve drinks fountain, self-serve water, self-serve juice, and then there is also a fully stocked bar with draft beer, top shelf liquor and wine. So pretty much everything that you could possibly want while not going too far above and beyond or anything crazily spectacular. So with that, we're going to give this one a solid 8 out of 10.
In terms of cleanliness, there's really not much to say other than the fact that the staff do actually come around quite regularly to clear away your dishes, which is a nice touch. So with that, we're rating it a 9 out of 10.
On the comfort front, then definitely this is a larger lounge than the Aspire Lounge, and there are a range of different seating options and also a couple of really comfortable little nooks that you can go into as part of this lounge. So it just adds to the experience of coziness. So with that, then we are going to be giving this one an 8.
In terms of amenities, this has Wi-Fi and charging ports and washrooms within the lounge, which you'd be surprised some do not have. The thing that this one is missing is there are no showers, and there really are no extras like a business center or anything like that, while there is kind of a little bit of a quiet space. So with that, we cannot rate it more than a 7 out of 10.
And that rounds this off to a solid 40 out of 50. Now, I think we're trying to compare this as fairly as we can to the Aspire Lounge, and when we think back to it, the Aspire Lounge was only the second lounge we'd ever rated, so maybe we were a little bit too generous in our ratings on that one, but all the same, actually, the score that we're giving on this one is pretty well deserved, I would say. This is definitely one of the better lounges that you can go to in Gatwick Airport, so if you find yourself with a couple of hours free and happen to have any kind of lounge pass, then this should really be the one that you go to.
Now it's time to go board our flight to Porto.
Welcome to Porto. Now that we're here, it's actually pretty easy to get into town. We just have to go on the metro, so that's what we're going to do now.
We did load the card with 2 trips just because we know that in a few days we're going to be using it to come back. So the other important thing you need to know is that you need to validate the card when you get on. Still unsure if you have to do it when you get off.
Two more stops on this one and then we walk. And after quite the hill climb, we are now here in our apartment here in Porto. What did you make of the city so far?
It is absolutely beautiful, and I cannot wait to go on our favorite thing to do, a walking tour tomorrow morning.
Me neither. So a tour of the city as well as a tour of this cute little apartment will come in our next video, which you'll be able to catch next week. But until next time, that's all from us. So take care.
And keep smiling.